Hey everyone, I want to talk today about compliance. So for those of you that are sharing Plexus on social media, which is amazing, there are some rules that we need to be aware of. And these are rules, they are Plexus's rules, but they come from guidelines that are enforced by both the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, and the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. And overall, I think that these are great rules. So obviously, we don't want other companies out there making outrageous claims about supplements. So there's some strict rules about what companies are allowed to say that supplements do. And we need to play inside those rules. So they apply to other companies. They also apply to Plexus. We are selling supplements here. These are not pharmaceuticals. And pharmaceuticals have been studied in very specific ways to treat very specific conditions. Supplements may have clinical research behind them, but they don't have the same classification as a pharmaceutical. So the number one thing to know when we're talking about compliance is that we just cannot claim that any Plexus products heal, treat, or prevent any diseases. You'll see that disclaimer a lot of places, and it's not a bad idea to throw that on your posts as well. But essentially, we can't make those claims. And so what we have to watch out for in our posts is making sure that we are not claiming anything like that or indicating that Plexus is going to help with a specific medical condition in our posts. So we cannot say the name of a diagnosable medical condition in a post related to Plexus. So we cannot say that Plexus heals irritable bowel syndrome. We can't say that Plexus helps with thyroid disease. We can't say that it prevents cancer. We can't say that it prevents migraines, something that's a medical condition. We can't say that it helps that. In some cases, that means we can't say that it helps something that we absolutely know for sure that it helps with and that we have maybe experienced ourselves or we've seen it in someone else. Okay, so I'm not saying that Plexus doesn't help with these things. I'm saying we cannot advertise it as being the treatment for such a condition. Okay, we don't want to be perceived as giving medical advice. I know none of us want that liability, so we just need to draw a clear distinction between what we are saying that the Plexus is going to do and where we recommend that people get medical treatment and evaluation for certain things. So what we can do is we can describe symptoms of conditions. So we can say that we can describe what a migraine feels like. We can say it has given someone relief from intense pounding in their head, sensitivity to light, things like that. You can have someone describe what it's like to have a migraine, but you can't say in a public Facebook post, this helps with migraines. Okay, that's just the rule. So again, sometimes that means you have to dance around something that either your doctor has told you to take this for or something that you've personally experienced. Again, just try to stick with descriptions instead of the name of that condition, okay? So we can get into a lot more detail on that, but in a nutshell, that's what you need to go off. Don't say medical conditions and Plexus in the same post. Now, you could link an article talking about how gut health is related to depression, but you can't say Plexus treats depression, okay? So you can link that, say, hey, look at what they're finding out in their research about the link between depression, anxiety, and the gut. We actually can say anxiety in relation to our vital biome because it has been specifically studied for that. So when you're looking, your shareables in your back office are a great place to find that. If they're using those words in your shareables, you can better believe they're compliant. But yeah, that's basically what you need to be careful of. So yeah, use those shareables from Plexus. You can link an article that relates a certain condition. So you can link something that says rheumatoid arthritis and gut health, as long as you don't say Plexus in that post, but people can kind of connect the dots for you, okay? And then the other things we have to be careful about is stuff with our kids. I give Triplex to my kids every day. It has been approved by my pediatrician and recommended for specifically my older daughter who was dealing with some tummy stuff. So yes, I feel very strongly that it is good and safe for kids, but there are very strict rules from the FDA and the FTC about what can be marketed to children. And if it has not been specifically tested and studied on young children, we can't advertise it as being okay for that. So nothing with your kids. You can't post a picture of your kids drinking your pink drink, things like that. You'll see some of us kind of dance around that indirectly, but we can't actually say, put a post up with our kids with their triplex saying, my kids take this every day and my pediatrician said it was okay. That's, again, just in our public Facebook posts. Similar with pregnancy. I am currently 28 weeks pregnant, and I can make it clear that I am pregnant, I'm taking the products, but I can't make a post that says, Plexus is giving me the healthiest pregnancy ever, and my doctor said it was okay, which they did, and we can't say it like that, not in a public post. So those are just good rules to be aware of. And one of the things, so basically everything I'm talking about here, I'm talking about your public Facebook post that people can see. That is considered an advertisement by the FTC. So it is regulated as such. Now, your conversations with people do not fall under that. So if you are in a private message with a prospect or a loved one explaining how it might be able to help their condition, you can say that you know people that have gotten help for Plexus with that specific condition. So it's fine. You can really say whatever, you can say anything, true and reasonable, obviously, but you can say that in a private message. You just can't say it in a public Facebook post. Now, these compliance rules didn't really come into effect for Plexus until like about a year and a half ago. So you'll still find old testimonies out there that are not compliant. So if you put into your Facebook search bar Plexus and thyroid, Plexus and arthritis, Plexus and multiple sclerosis, you will find testimonies from people saying that they got help with that. And sometimes I will still do that and send those via screenshot or otherwise to a prospect. But we cannot repost those things, okay? So again, you can dance around it. You can kind of be vague and describe it. So I've seen some creative ways that people have described Lyme disease and some other autoimmune conditions, Crohn's disease, things like that we're not allowed to specifically say. But yeah, you just have to get a little bit creative about that and describe it instead of name it. But again, private messages, pretty much fair game. So there's more to get into. There's some great detailed training videos in our team pages that go into a lot more detail on what words we can and cannot say. I encourage you to watch those if you're going to be posting on Facebook. But in a nutshell, I wanted you to understand the general rules that surround compliance so that you can post confidently and ensure that you are getting people the message of Plexus, but doing it in a way that's compliant with both Plexus's regulations and the FDA and the FTC.